Silver Dollar City in Branson, Missouri. This is Clay with the Pennsylvania Roller Coaster Club, and if you're not already a subscriber and a member of the club, please go ahead and do so. By subscribing, you will enter yourself into a chance at our 1,000 subscriber mark to win yourself a free season pass to your local park. So we'll be talking about more of that, but for now, we're going to take you from worst to first for the roller coasters of Silver Dollar City. Now, before we start counting credits, we always like to take a little look at the history. So, this park is based on the 1880s Ozark theme, and the Ozark Mountains obviously being a stomping grounds for the Hatfields and the McCoys and all of those fantastic stories throughout legend. Now, opening May 1st, 1960, Silver Dollar City is owned by Hirsch & Family Entertainment, the same company that also owns Alabama Adventures. They also own Dollywood, and they also own Kentucky Kingdom. So, there are some other parks that are going to be, maybe along the way for Hirsch & Family Entertainment. I'm not 100% sold or convinced that they are done acquiring parks here in the U.S., especially with the ongoing merger between Cedar Fair and Six Flags. So, not 100% sure where they are going to fit in, but they did announce a new ride for 2024. And they'd like you to answer the call because they are carrying on the tradition. And Silver Dollar City announced that in 2024, they are having a redo of Fire in the Hole. Now, this project is going to cost somewhere around $40 million to complete. I want to say 36 is the last number that I heard. But, hey, you can always assume that there's going to be overages and unexpected expenses as you try to finish a project like this. So it is a complete ground-up facility. They built a brand new building to be able to house this in, and they went out and they contracted RMC. If you remember, the original Fire in the Hole was self-built by the park. This ride, it's very peculiar. If you've ridden Fire in the Hole, you know what I mean. It's one of those dark ride roller coaster mixtures. And they're really going to try to keep the same intent here from what has been explained. And my own personal take on this is I kind of feel as though this is going to be Dark Ride / Wild Moose, the new family coaster that has been designed and been advertising recently from RMC. I believe this is going to be essentially the first Wild Moose with some dark ride elements to it and some slower portions. So, we'll see what this ends up coming out to be, but I'm pretty excited for it. I think this turns over a new leaf, not just for the park, but it also turns over a new leaf for RMC. And you know what? If this ends up being a smash hit, you could see RMC starting to work with other parks for other projects besides just iBox and Topper Track projects and things of that nature. So, exciting times for everybody, and Silver Dollar City just proven again that they are committed to their heritage. Now, moving on to the coasters here, number 7, Grand Exposition Coaster. And, guys, Grand Exposition Coaster, this is a Zamperla install from 2006. So, nothing really to speak of here. This is your run-of-the-mill Zamperla of the era kiddie coaster, and does give you a couple passes through the cycle. So, I guess you really can't complain in that regard. But, hey, it is what it is. It is another credit. And they didn't give any of the adults that were with us on our group any hard time to be able to ride it. So it should be another good credit for you. But I know parks and different operators get finicky about this kind of stuff. Who really knows? Number 6, Fire in the Hole. So the original Fire in the Hole, probably the least favorite of my roller coaster rides at Silver Dollar City. Hopefully the new version will change that, but again, this is just a weird eclectic ride, filled with, like your kind of Sally Dark ride type stuff. But at the same time, you get that roller coaster effect as well. there's a lot of parks that have this type of ride, this type of dark ride throughout the country. A lot of them were built by CCI, but this, as I said, being built in-house, pretty cool, and a piece of history for the park. It really does lend some credence to the fact that, they had a choice to put something brand new in and get rid of this, but they chose to bring it back. And that means a lot. Number 5, Thunderation. Now, Thunderation, this is an Aero mine train, and, Aero mine trains they're interesting because, again, during this era, this tubular track was all bent on site by hand. And, every time that I say that to myself as I'm riding an Aero coaster, it kind of re-amazes me all over again. So, pretty decent ride. Number 4, Wildfire. Now, Wildfire is a B&M sit-down. This is in the ilk of Kumba, of Incredible Hulk. This is a great ride, and one of the most scenic B&Ms of any type anywhere in the country. This just travels directly through the forested mountains of the Ozarks in Branson, and it is breathtaking. They have an observation deck up by where you enter the queue, and that observation deck peers out, dozens of miles into the Ozark view and landscape, and it really is a beautiful ride. Pretty good ride, too. Number 3, Powder Keg. Now we're really starting to get into the meat and potatoes of what makes Silver Dollar City so great. So, Powder Keg, this is an incredibly unique ride. It started its life off, actually, as a water coaster, a Premier Rides water style coaster, and then they brought S&S in, and S&S put a switch track and a compressed air launch, and they just made this thing sick. So I remember my first ride on this, I was blown away. First off, the launch is awesome, and it is super intense. And then you have a lift hill, as you see here a little bit later in the ride, making this very, very unique in the sense that it has a launch and a lift. And it's just instead of a hodgepodge of nothingness, this is a hodgepodge of somethingness. And that something is a pretty outstanding ride. It really is broke up into two halves, if you will, the launch section and the lift section, but both are absolute bangers. This is definitely in my top 50, just like number 2, Outlaw Run. Now, Outlaw Run, again, first time I rode it, absolutely floored. I got off this ride the first time saying, this might be the best wooden roller coaster in the country. And I said that the majority of the day. Now, not certain if it is the best. It's pretty darn good, and it's one of the best. But I don't know if it is the best. Truth be told, I'm not even sold that it is the best topper track in America. So, things to be considered. But the outward bank wave turn is absolutely sick. And getting to ride this at night, guys, it is just pitch black. You can see nothing, and you are hauling through that layout. But number 1, as though there were any surprise, Time Traveler. One of my favorite rides that I've ever been on in my entire life. This is one of those roller coasters that I go to bed every single night, and I hope and pray that Kenny Wood does something absolutely ridiculous and purchases a mock extreme spinner to be able to fit somewhere into that park. For that matter, because I know that that's not realistic, I go to bed hoping that Kings Island or King's Dominion, or one of those parks, somewhere that's close to me, Hershey, someone buys one of these, because the fact that I have to go 14, 15 hours to Branson to be able to ride this, it breaks my heart. It's that good. It's a unique experience all unto itself. If you love great mock ride roller coasters, you're going to love it. If you love good launch coasters, you're going to love it. If you enjoy a good family style spinner, you're going to love it. It takes every element of every roller coaster that I just mentioned, amplifies it by 10, and puts it all together. It makes it as darn near close to a perfect ride experience as you can possibly make. Not too many complaints. Now, this channel is dedicated to, covering the coasters of the U.S., but I will tell you, if there is anything that has made me consider going overseas, it would be Ride to Happiness by Mock Rides, the second version of this extreme spinner, and Plopsaland. And yeah, I got to tell you guys, this is a phenomenal park. Silver Dollar City blew away my expectations in every sense of the word. Absolutely love this place. Can't wait to go back. But until next time, we'll see you out there.